Mara, your latest opinion piece for the New York Times is headlined, Mamdani shows what it looks like when generational change actually takes place. And the mayor has approaching the 100-day mark in office. There's certainly some who have been dedicated opposition. I'm looking at the New York Post to my left. But at this point, they really felt like they haven't really laid a glove on him. His poll numbers really high. Talk to us about what you wrote, how he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, one of the secrets to his success so far has been really driving the narrative. He understands that this is an attention economy. And every day they're putting out not just content on Instagram and social media, but he's crisscrossing the city. He's extremely visible. He cares a lot about that press strategy. And so far it's working. And I think the secret behind that is his youth and the youth of those around him. I mean, this is a really stark contrast with what we see throughout much of the Democratic Party and its establishment. These are people who are in their 30s or even younger, and so they are working constantly. They are working around the clock in some cases. They have late-night phone calls, conference calls. They're up early, and they're, across the boroughs, constantly. And so I think that's something that's hard to replicate. Of course, we're also seeing some, I wouldn't call them red flags, I would say. There are just some points of concern that can emerge with this kind of management strategy also, which is you have to pace yourself. There's not been a serious crisis yet, so they haven't done this really difficult job during, any kind of terror attacks or anything like that. So they're going to have to pace themselves. But also, we got to make sure that there's enough people in that room to be sure that someone can tell the mayor no.
So the people around the mayor and the mayor himself, he's young.
Yep.
He's energetic. He's full of energy, full of ideas and everything like that. What are his prospects if he runs afoul of the New York Police Department?
Oh, well, that's a great question. I mean, listen, his relationship with the New York Police Commissioner, Jessica Tisch, is fascinating. And the fact that he actually appointed her to that role, even though they have deep differences in policy, really suggests that he understands that he needs to have the support of some of the establishment in order to run the city well. He also cares about people and he wants to keep the public safe. So, in that they are aligned. But I do think that ultimately some of those fissures may get larger. And, that's like an open question. So far, the city is continuing to be very safe. So he's going to be allowed to do what he wants to do with his agenda as long as that's the case.
Maura, and you're so right. I mean, I learned a very long time ago, I've talked about it on the air, that even the most liberal New Yorkers through the years, they want a safe city. And they look at January being the safest January on record, that things are safe. And it's interesting, every day his critics are going after him, and newspapers going after him. And it kind of reminds me, after Reagan got elected, Democrats and the media constantly were going up and just couldn't lay a glove on him. And the more they tried, the more frustrated they got. And it's almost like the same thing right now is happening with a guy on the other end of the political spectrum, Mayor Mamdani.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's very popular right now. And there are big challenges ahead. Running New York City is hard. No question that at the moment he's got a lot of political capital, and he understands that he needs to use that quickly to deliver on some really big promises. Right now, they're very focused on universal child care initiative. And look, if he can get that done alongside Governor Hochul, that's going to be a huge win, not just for Democrats, but for Americans. That's something that can be replicated across the country. And that's something that former Mayor Bloomberg showed. When you do things that benefit people and their lives, you can take that show on the road and you can change people's lives. When he banned smoking in bars and restaurants, for example, with the bike lanes. I mean, this is about politics, but it's also about delivering, just showing that government can actually deliver for people, that it's not just about, raising gas prices with an unwanted war or masked agents in the streets, or upending air travel. It actually can still deliver for people. So he's got a lot to prove, and they're hard at work at it.
So, Maura, you raised a concern in that you said it's important to figure out whether somebody can say no to the mayor.
Totally.
I went on and on and on a couple days ago about how the president of the United States needs somebody that can walk in and say, no, Mr. President, bad idea. Let's not do that. Is there a growing sense around the mayor that he does not take no for an answer?
No, the issue isn't that he doesn't take no. He's a very different character than President Trump. The issue is just that there aren't a lot of people with the kind of experience that years on Earth and years in office can bring to have the confidence to kind of tell this very highly charismatic and energetic mayor, no, that's not such a good idea. There aren't a lot of people in the building who are over the age of 45.
All right. That's an issue. Still.